glad you're watching online. I'm glad you're here if you're here in person. I'm really glad you're here. I am Bonnie, and I'm the Director of Communications and Marketing here, and I've been here on staff about 3 years. So I have the privilege to help get ready for you in a unique way that some of the pastors don't get to. I'm the one who's 9 out of 10 times, I'm the one, commenting or saying hi on Facebook or praying with you on Facebook Messenger, and I would have never gotten here without redemption. So I get to share my little testimony today. I married Danny 4 years ago, and we've been attending here together for that time, and we have 6 kids between us. Yep, he brought 3, I brought 2, and we had 1 together. So it's been an interesting ride. We love our family, and we love what Jesus has done with all of us. And it hasn't always been that great. I have a past. I grew up in a Methodist church. My mom was the church secretary. My dad was on the trustees, and there were 3 generations of us, 4 at one time, all in that Methodist church. And I grew up going to church camp, and I accepted Jesus into my heart. And there's no reason, really, that I should have strayed. But I moved away for college, and I went to an art school in Chicago. And I just started to get way too deep into things that I knew were not for me. I knew God wanted more for me. So I was hanging out with friends, drinking. I had casual relationships with guys, and it just was not good. So I knew I needed to get out of Chicago. So I moved to Denver to finish college there and thought I would have a fresh start. I moved in with my high school sweetheart out of convenience. We thought if we got engaged, it'd be okay that we lived together before marriage. And when it got up to the point of getting married with rings and dress and deposits, he left me. And I was devastated. So I quickly filled the void, started dating again, back to my old ways, and fell in love with another guy, and he had a 3-year-old, and I fell in love with that little boy, and we got married quick. We got pregnant on the honeymoon, and the honeymoon was the same time I realized my now husband had a drinking problem. And we said our vows before God, and I don't fail. I'm not a failure. So we were gonna make that marriage work. And it didn't matter how much I tried to pray it out of him. I realized I could not save my marriage. But I did realize that through my divorce, I could come back to God. And I drove by this church every day for years, and I finally had the courage to come back to God and to face God. And right here in this room, with worship, with applying the sermons, with coming up for prayer, I realized that I just had to stop shutting the door. I had to stop pushing God out. I just had to let him back into my life. And I submitted to God, and I repented, and I remember praying so hard that God would forgive me and rescue me from my life. And he did. He met me here in this room. And I remember the moment that he lifted the burdens off of my shoulders. I could feel God taking anger, resentment, lust off of my shoulders. And when he did that, I could finally start to do the deep digging and start to heal. So the kids and I went to the care center for counseling. I went through healing journey. I got involved with MOPS and Moms Next, and I just started to let myself be known and to meet all these new people, new friends and family here in this church. And I had my grace encounter. And the amount of joy that I have had since that moment has been amazing. Then God brought an amazing man into my life, Danny, and his 3 kids. And it wasn't always easy. We just had a night the other night that we were all reminiscing about the first memories we had of each other. And we had a great deal of laughter. And we were able to laugh about some of the silly things. And we have gone through this church together in this journey, all the kids and I. And we've had a lot of challenges and a lot of prayer. A lot of this church has prayed for us and our many teenagers. And one of our biggest prayers was that it was a challenge when our teens were primarily living with the other parents. We were just they visited us. and we prayed so hard that they would choose a life with us. The other parents didn't have a relationship with Jesus or go to church or anything, and we just wanted the kids to come back or choose to live with us so we could pour the love of Jesus all over them. And at the end of 2020, 4 of the kids decided to stay with us, and they chose. And it was a huge answer to prayer. So what comes with a huge answer to prayer? A huge spiritual attack. That's just how it goes when you live this life and you walk this journey with God. But we haven't wavered. We've had our ups and downs, and we are very real with our kids. And we, if something comes up and we argue, we quickly repent and love, and we don't live in that anger. And we try and teach our kids to do the same thing. And all I can think of, especially through this episode of The Chosen with Mary and with all of the disciples, is I keep thinking about how when you pour into your kids, you hope that if they drift, they come back. And I came back. And that was because Jesus redeemed me and he rescued me. And I hope that we pour into our kids enough that if they drift, and they probably will, that they come back. So I like when I read Luke 9:23-24, it says, "If anyone would come after me, let her deny herself and take up her cross daily and follow me. For whoever would save her life will lose it, but whoever loses her life for my sake will save it." I lost my life when I gave it to Jesus, but that's when I found he wanted so much more for me, and I'm so grateful for the life that I have. COVID was insane. It just was. But I was lucky enough to see God show up every day. Maybe not in my life every day, but in the lives of everyone else, and I am so grateful for that. And recently, I had the opportunity to go through Church Marketing University, and I graduated, and I have this little certificate that says that I know how to minister and market, the church to different people, but now I have the confidence that I needed to share my testimony and to help coach other churches on how to reach more people and help them say yes to God. Thank you.